In January of 2014, a quiet hospital in Carson City, Nevada, became the site of a chilling tragedy, one wrapped in sorrow, controversy, and ultimately compassion. This is a story of William Dresser, a man in his late 80s who walked into a hospital room carrying more than just grief. On January 19th, William Dresser was arrested at the Carson Tahoe Regional Medical Center. There, authorities alleged he pulled out a handgun and shot his wife, a woman paralyzed from a recent fall, directly in the chest. Dresser was immediately taken into custody and booked into the Carson City detention facility. Before that, inside the security headquarters of this hospital, he said that the life his wife would have lived was inhumane. Being paralyzed like that, requiring assistance for everything. The charges he was booked on were attempted murder and battery, both severe felonies. At his first court appearance, Dresser appeared virtually from jail via WebEx. Frail, gray haired, and seated in a wheelchair. Assistant District Attorney Mark Kruger announced plans to bring this case before a grand jury. This was as Judge John Tatro ordered that one review the charges in order to confirm them. The DA, who was serving as prosecutor, announced that the death penalty would not be sought. Judge Tatro assigned a public defender for William Dresser, Karen Kreisenbeck, and set his bond to $250,000 surety. Therefore, shortly after, William was released from the detention facility. Frances Dresser, William's 86-year-old wife, was transported to the Renown Medical Center in Reno, the regional center. Despite efforts to save her, she succumbed to the rest of her injuries and died 3 days later on January 22nd, 2014. What was originally charged as attempted murder had now weighed in to death behind it. The investigation took time, and when it finally reached a grand jury, the results were surprising. The panel chose not to bring any additional charges beyond those already imposed. That meant there would only be two charges: attempted murder and battery. No extra indictment, no new legal escalations. William made it to his wife's funeral, which took place on February 5th, 2014. It was a private service at the Fitzhenry's Carson Valley Funeral Home in Minden, Nevada. It was a quiet goodbye to a woman lost in an act that blurred the line between mercy and violence. When Dresser returned to court, he pleaded not guilty to the charges before Judge Tatro. This judge allowed this case to proceed to trial. But behind the scenes, pressure was building, not from the state, but from the victim's own family. In January 2015, Carson City District Attorney Neil Rombardo made a controversial call. He announced the state would not pursue the case any further. Why? For several reasons. Frances Dresser had reportedly told family that she no longer wanted to live. Her loved ones requested that William not be prosecuted. Rombardo emphasized this was not an endorsement of assisted suicide, but rather a compassionate decision in a complex and heartbreaking situation. The charges were dropped. William Dresser never served prison time. He was a man nearing the end of his life, accused of taking another life he loved. Was it murder? Was it mercy? Or was it something else? The tragic unraveling of two lives caught in the slow cruelty of age and helplessness. We may never know for sure. William Dresser is now deceased, most likely reunited with his wife and with his parents who passed away before him. In a recent episode, I discussed the story of Ellen Gilland, who also killed her spouse in order to end their suffering. If you haven't already, I recommend you check that episode out. Thank you for listening. This has been Strawberry Ink. May the ones affected rest in peace and have a good rest of your day. Hold your loved ones close.